Hey, Bucs fans, and welcome to the post-game show. Let's hit it. Fuck is all I could say. Wow. Wow. So the Buccaneers can't beat poor opposition. They can't beat 500 opposition. That was a tough watch. The only good thing, you know what? It took me back to being a Buccaneers fan, watching Mike Evans gain yardage and touchdown, going, "Oh, Mike Evans going to make 10,000 and make his 1K yards." No, we can win this game. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to win the division because right now it is far away right now, guys. I don't see this team remotely close to that. You know, right now the Buccaneers can't lose one single game. Let's just have a little look at where your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are right now. So what we're 4-7, or 4-6. Hang on, just check this out. We're 4-7, guys. We're 4-7, right? So if the Buccaneers lose one more game, they can technically go 9-8, which is better than last year, right? I don't see the Buccaneers doing that. I don't think the Buccaneers are going to drop one more game in the space of the next. How many we got left? Should we go Panthers, Falcons, Packers? Because that Jags game now looks difficult. I'm just saying that Jags game looks difficult. That Falcons game is looking more difficult. That Packers game at the Packers now looks much more difficult. If someone told me the games that I think we're going to win, I think we might win 3. With the team that we got now, we might win 3. Might win 3. That puts us. God, me and math today. It puts us at 7 wins. We go 7-10. Yay for us. Again, I'm going to advocate this, and I'm not a fan of this. I don't give a shit how bad the team is, or if we win a game here and win a game there. I don't believe in tanking. I just don't believe in tanking. He goes everything against who I am as a human being. He goes everything I believe in as a coach. Team organizations may want to tank. Fans may want to tank because they're looking at draft position. Players don't want to tank, and coaches don't want to tank. And I'm telling you that right now, because it makes your locker room implode. And people are going to argue, "Oh, it's already shit." Okay, maybe. So, fireballs has been the answer. Is the answer to the question on how can the Buccaneers be better next year? It's fireballs. That seems to be the direct answer. Imagine being so bad at your job as the offensive coordinator that the head coach is getting more of the flack. Now, don't get me wrong, the defense was not great today at all. It really wasn't. And he is the head coach. A lot of it falls on the head coach. I get that. But he slipped under the radar, and he still averages. He got 20 points, and no one's saying fire Canales. Now, granted, Canales is a rookie coach, for sure. I get it. So did the Buccaneers go clean sweep on this? Did they go general manager while they're there? Give me your thoughts, guys, and tell me what you're thinking. Not just of this Bucs game, but what you want in the future. I know that the answer to most people's lips is fireballs. Okay? All I want to say to you, and I'm not saying I'm not an advocate either. I'm literally on the fence on this because I like to hear both sides. I don't know actually where I sit in life, so I want to see the completion of the season before I make a decision. I'm not right now. I would say fired because I'm angry, I'm upset, and I want my team to win. It's frustrating me, it's pissing me off, and all those things. But you also have to remember, we just saw what this team's going to look like next year without Levante David if he does not return, and we saw that. James Matz, I'm back, and didn't I tell you you had some things on your mind last time about the Coach Bowles thing? I his play calling in situations. It's not the. I don't think the scheme is particularly broken. I don't think he's got the right players to execute it. I think that they're missing a few bits and pieces. However, it's the play calling in critical situations that I find that we're quite lacking. I'm actually going to go through the tape tomorrow if I get a chance, and have a look, because we might play a little game tomorrow on the aftermath called Player or Coach, and we're going to look at a play. AJ's going to spin it to why it's the scheme and the coach, and I will spin it based on the player's ability. James, I have to agree with you. Unfortunately, we do a similar lot of things, a lot of the same things. You know you're going to get that soft zone coverage, and if I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm going to have a off coverage package that I've created just for the Buccaneers, and I will just call either down the headset or a hand signal or whatever, or the plays. Whatever the quarterback sees, he sees that like soft zone, and he just calls out 1 to 5. I only have 5 plays, 4 plays. Scream. It screams out the play because of what you're getting, and then you have a play that works to take advantage of the fact that just giving you up a free 5-yard start, because starting your corners at the 10-yard marker on a first down, I don't see it. I'd love to know the logic in it. It's not what I've ever coached. Obviously, I'm not an NFL head coach, so I'm not going to pretend that I know more than anybody else. It's just not who I am. The D looks bad, even when 54 is playing. Yeah, I mean, it is. The run defense is kind of really softened up. It's really, really softened up. To a point, it's frustrating to watch. Like, it is difficult to watch this team that could literally kill any run. And now it's like what was it they used to say? Pick your poison. We're going to kill you the pass, and we're going to kill you. We're going to kill you. You'll kill your run game. Now it's kind of like pick your antidote, because you're going to be fine anyway. Frustrating for me to watch. A lot of individual execution going wrong. And there's got to be a reason why that individual execution was okay. Well, individual execution in years past was good, and now it's all of a sudden really, really poor. Baker is short. When the pocket collapses, he panics, he loses his reads, and looks to run first, tucked and or sacked every time in crucial moments. I agree and I disagree at the same time. So I agree that he is short, because a lot of his fucking balls are tipped. And there's a simple answer to that. If your balls are getting tipped, now this might be down on the center, but you can do a couple of things here. Your center could snap it further by a yard or two, and that'll help. And secondly, if you can't, snap it at normal depth, take a 3-step drop. You'll have the space. You'll be able to see over everything. You just got to take a deeper drop. That's what the pocket's there for. That's why you take different drops. It's to allow the pass rush. It takes the pass rush even longer to get there. It also allows your players to develop their routes. But what it also allows you to do is see over your offensive line. So that's something that needs to be looked at. It seems to be a schematical problem that they don't have built in. There's way too many balls being tipped. And it's not just a guy rushing at him and getting his hands up in the right place, because that happens. That's football, right? He's throwing the ball, and it's meant to go to somebody, but it just pops up at the line, and it's frustrating. I think in this game, he held on to the ball too long before he ran. Like in times past, he'd shoot and he'd go. Right now, he's holding on, and this is what we're seeing. I said in my both my videos, I like Baker Mayfield. I think he is an above-average quarterback, but I think he's a poor quarterback in critical situations. I think if you give him a team that can get the lead and a defense that can control the game, which we're not, which we were, but we're not now, so he doesn't have to do too much, and you're not putting the offense squarely on his shoulders, I think he will succeed as your quarterback. But when you go into playoff mode and you go into playing teams where it's going to be tight, regardless how good your defense is, or regardless how good your O line is, regardless how good your running game is, you will need to step up and make plays to win games. And I'm not sure he is 100% that guy. I really don't know. I like his attitude. I like his grit. But what I don't like is his clutch. He's just not. He's not clutch in situations. Every time we're in a position to try and tie up a game or finish up a game, maybe at the half, maybe there's less pressure on a half as well. He comes short. And it seems to be a consistent thing with him at the moment. He comes up short when it's on the line. I don't watch a lot of Brown's footage or where he's been in his other endeavors. He seems like a guy who thrives. He seems like a guy who thrives when he's in the good, like he's in the situation. His team's up. He's not having to do too much. They're just, it's not reliant on him. Yeah, there's some key drops. There's key drops for sure. That's got to get cleaned up. In all fairness, that comes down to coaching. Drop balls are a part of the game, but when it's consistent, then you got to start looking at things. I said today, today's Bucs game, I got about 3/4 of the way through, of the 3/4 of the way through this game, and I felt like it was old football, where I'm cheering for individual players rather than, I wouldn't say I'm not cheering for the team, but I'm expecting the team. I'm now at a point where I'm expecting the team to lose, and I'm just cheering for individual accolades, like Mike Evans and his 10K season and his touchdowns, his touchdown ratio, and players getting their sacks and players making their interceptions. And who thought Carlton Davis would get a pick in zone coverage? Wonders never cease. Let's go with the next one. James Matz again. Bowles is supposedly a defensive guru, right? Yep, he is considered. I mean, you listen to the broadcast. He has a lot of people talking down to him. Since the NFC Championship game against the Rams, we tied the game, and this defense has gone downhill since. You also got to take into account that the offense failed to fucking score for a shit ton of times, and the only time they did score was when the defense got them short fields from picks and fumbles. So it swings and roundabouts. You can't say that game is on the defense. If anyone wants, I'll argue with you on it. If you think that championship game was Bowles' fault, you're an idiot. You don't know football. Tom Brady had a fucking whole half where he did fucking nothing. Nothing. He did nothing. That game would have been over if Antoine Winfield didn't pop that ball out in the last seconds of that half. Game would have been done. We'd be talking about no. We wouldn't be talking about no. We're talking about complete implode. So I'm not sure I'm going to put it there, but I've seen a steady decrease. But then the steady decrease, James, is you've got the Buccaneers have got greedy and come up with these ideas to try and salivate with all these returning players. Now that roster intact for another year and the Tom Brady years, they perforated money down the season. And we're still technically owing cap to Brady next season. So Todd Bowles and his team and the GM had 33% less salary cap than your average football team to work with. So who are you bringing in when you're missing 150 million? They were 50 million over the cap. They had to get themselves under the cap, sign people, and they were still down. So I didn't say it was his fault. Oh, sorry, James. I didn't say it was his fault. I think he needed a stand, and he couldn't do it. They haven't made a critical stand. So, yeah, no, I get you. Then this defense isn't as clutch as it was. It's had moments. I still don't think it's a statistically bad defense. Like it's a very up and down defense. It's a frustrating thing, but it has tapered off for sure. And I completely agree with you. It has tapered off because we had a run defense that they used to say. I remember in the broadcast they'd be saying like they're not even bothering running the ball now because they know it's a wasted down. It's going to be either behind the line of scrimmage or a 1 yard gain. That is it. Now we're giving up 10-yard gains, 8-yard gains, 5-yard gains. We'll get the occasional like shut ball and what have you. But for me, the defensive drive me crazy because they haven't been able to replace JPP. That's a fact. Joe Tryon Shoyinka hasn't been that guy yet. We feel like we've got an emerging guy in Yaya Diaby, who had a quiet game. Kansi, there's yet to be seen, and we feel like we can get more out of him. And then you've got Vita Vea. So the studs and buds on the team right now. If someone said to me, "Give me the best, give me the absolute studs on this Buccaneer defense," I would say to you, Vita Vea, Antoine Winfield, Levante David. After that, then you've got guys who are emerging, and I would say that is Kalijah Kansi. Potentially emerging, Yaya Diaby. I don't want to put anything out on him. I haven't seen enough of him to make that statement that this guy's here. He's here to play. Christian Isle looks decent, but he's tapered off in the since the last 4 games. He's tapered off. The cover, I'd say with the corners, Carlton Davis is a very up and down kind of guy. He has games where he looks completely lost at sea, and he has games where he is elite. It's a frustrating one, but consistency is key if you want to play this game of football, in my opinion. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing from the offense. From the defense. Offensively, it feels like Rachaad White is the offense. Let's face it. I said that. Trevor, I said that he's the best player. I said, if you told me who our superstars were, you need to watch from the beginning, bro. I said, who are studs, our absolute studs? It would be Antoine Winfield. It would be Levante David, and it would be Vita Vea. They are our absolute studs. Then I said, our emerging players are probably Yaya Diaby, and I'm not 100% sold on that yet, and Kalijah Kansi. And then it kind of tapers off a lot from a lot of people. I'm not 100%, but Antoine Winfield should absolutely. Trevor, hence emerging. I can't say he's a fucking superstar because he's not a fucking superstar. He's not. He's ball out, but he's emerging. He's emerging. He's not there yet. Yeah. Is he one of our best players on? Yes, but is he a superstar? Can you hand on heart, Trevor Smith? Tell me right this second that Kansi is a superstar. Please, he's not. But he will. I believe he will be. Like next season, it's there. And could he have like a stretch of the last 4 games where he goes off and is super special? Yes. James Matz, doesn't it look like the other team has our playbook? Yeah, it does. But I think it's not the fact they have to see our playbook. We have from a stand. Key word there, Trevor. Your keyword you put in there, emerging. Hence why I said emerging. Keywords and that. There you go. But yes, it does feel a little bit like that. But I think it's the fact that from a coverage shell point of view, we do the same thing quite often, and we don't manipulate the shell too much. So what I mean by that is you'll have like a 2 high shell, or in that case, we tend to throw a 4 high shell in quite often. And rather than manipulate it by having different guys go into different spots post snap, we tend to just do the same thing. So it's almost like they're playing cover 4 / cover 2 in a weird kind of way, if that makes any sense. Everyone at Lucas Stadium knew they were going to fake it. Man. Yeah. That was tough. That was tough. Even the broadcast was there, like they're going to do this, and it's like, oh my gosh. But that's. I mean, part of me would say, Carlton Davis shouldn't have bit on the run. You're a fucking coverage guy. You should be biting on runs. Should be biting on runs when you're a coverage dude. You still have to have a level of coverage on every single play. You can't have just a sell out for the run play. You just can't. You have to have like your corners. You have to have your corners. You have to have your safeties. You play them down in the box a little bit more, but you can't have everyone on the line. It won't work, because otherwise you're going to always give that up. You're always going to give that play up, because you have to have some level of coverage, like coverage rules. So any guy that isn't on the line or isn't like a direct run fit person, which quarterbacks shouldn't be in a run fit. They're either in too high. They usually one of them's a force player. In one high, they're second force, right? So they don't actually have a run fit. It's basically, if it fucks up, you're making a tackle. That's what the schematic of that play should be. Both corners should have been in and out, and they should be looking for work for anything that could break. That's what I feel like went wrong. However, you could have gone cover one and have the two safety and have won the safeties down. But either way, someone whiffed on it. That's coaching. Absolutely. I mean, it was an unfamiliar territory for them, but at the same time, we knew what was coming. Like, everyone knew there was going to be a pass. So you needed to have somebody responsible for the pass. I've seen Devin White whiff on the exact same plays, because he's not a coverage. Defense played great. 2 Baker turnovers blew the game. It certainly didn't help. But at the end of the day, they coughed up. Defense played good in sections of the game. That they were really good in sections of the game. But you can't give up 27 points and call a team a good defense. You've got to be under 20. You've got to be 20 or under. You're 20 or under, you give your team the best possible chance to win the game. If you're coughing up everything, and in all fairness, you're probably right, because one of those potentially right, because one of those touchdowns was from a short field. So that's allowing keeping the defense on. I haven't seen enough from this defensive group that's made me go, I feel we've dipped. I'm agreeing with James a little bit. Like, the defense isn't bad. Sure, Bab. Sure. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm also saying you can stop fucking plays. Yeah, you can stop plays. You're allowed to go and tackle team. The amount of busted runs that I saw, maybe we should just get better at tackling. That might clean up a shit ton of stuff. There's no way a running back should just scorch down the fucking middle of our defense when you've got Vita Vea there and Devin White, who, for all of the love of money, turns around and says he can stop anybody. This is a guy who expects he can get $100 million because he's that good. He had plays streak past him. They couldn't stop a nosebleed in the run game. Let's talk about the stats. Jonathan Taylor, 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hallmark defense, that is. Hallmark defense. Absolute stud defense. And I'm not saying the offense aren't at fault. I'm just not a believer that it's just one side. I'm now talking about the defense. I will go on to the offense. That's kind of how this shit works. I can't segue to both sides. Talk about the defense, then we move to the offense. Later on, that. Big tip. And Michael Pittman, 107 yards. Let's have a look at Michael Pittman's stats for the season. You know, he's only had 2 games this season where he's given up 100 yards. Us and the Jags. But of course, you know, the defense played stellar. Absolute stellar. Disappointing, guys. It's not good. It's not good enough, and we need to figure out how we're going to fix this. Okay. So let's have a look. Let's go down to some of the main contributors, because they were some of the players of the day, right? Let's have a look at the Colts. Zach Moss, their backup running back, had 55. Dude, I will get onto the offense when the offense section is up. All right. Right now, we're talking about the defense. Zach Moss, 55 yards, 8 carries, 6.9 a carry. If you can't hold a team to under 4 yards a carry, you've got a problem with your run defense. And I don't care what anyone says. You can't tell me a team is good. And maybe I will stick to rugby, because at least they fucking tackle somebody. Because you cannot give up collectively 140 yards on the ground, and one running back averaged 6.1 yards a carry, and the other running back averaged 6.9 a carry. That isn't a good defense. That isn't a good run defense. That's a fact. 2 touchdowns, plus a Gardner Minshew touchdown, who averages 6 yards. Who had 6 yards for 3 carries, 2 yards. Okay, so we made the quarterback look a bit crappy. Fantastic. On the receiving side of things, Michael Pittman, 107 yards, no touchdowns, 10 receptions, 10.7 yards a carry. Josh Downs, 43. Mo Ali Cox, 30 on one, and that was the killer play. Whew. Being a Bucs fan, you got to get through this stuff. Will Malroy, 29. Alec Pierce, 27. Zach Moss, 15. Let's look at what they did. Let's look at what they did to us. Let's talk about this offense. The inability to protect the football. We always said, we've been saying throughout this season, that the one thing that Baker hasn't done is cough up the ball on a regular basis. Well, today he did. What? Interception, fumble, and they were keys. They were key fumbles. They were key interception. And yes, Trevor Smith, you've got Rashad White, had a great day on the ground. Great day on the ground. 15 carries, 100 yards, and I bet you he's got some decent yards. No, he hasn't. Okay, only 10 there, so he gives 100, 110. But we couldn't get critical first downs. He had a great day. So if the running game's so good, why can't that translate into the passing game? Because you got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin. Not many teams have that level of talent in their wide receiver core. Now, I think I agree with the fact that he helped. There's a bigger picture, and you're looking at the reactionary part of, we lost a game because of Baker gave up that. Nah, dude, there's no guarantee. I don't know about that. So how has Mike Evans got deep touchdowns this year if we've got no speed? How is Chris Godwin? Chris Godwin's a fantastic in and out breaking receiver. Nah, dude, you can't say that. We've got plenty of speed around. You've got, if you're worried about the speed, flex out Rashad White and put him in the slot, because that boy's got some speed. So I'm not buying that. I don't think the reason, I think I'm talking about playing quickness, and you're just talking about straight fucking running down a 40-yard dash. I'm talking quickness. There's a little bit more to just running a 40-yard dash in no fucking pads, dude. I want to see how quick you can turn on a dime. I want to see how quick you can do this. I want to see how quick you can change direction. I don't give a fuck about how fast you can run. John Ross ran one of the fastest 40s in the history of the combine. Where the fuck is he now? Speed is fuck all. It means nothing. I want to see how you can change direction. I want to see how you can manipulate the defender with your eyes, with your hip movement, with your body movement. That's what I want to see. I don't give a shit if you can run in a straight line. Scotty Miller, what's he doing these days? Not a fucking lot. One of the fast receiver. I'm sure you can throw me a Tyreek Hill and a person like that for sure, because they've refined their craft of using their speed as well as using their quickness. You can't just win a game on go routes all the day long. It doesn't work that way. You do need to be able to break smoothly. It's a little bit more to running the wide receiver route tree than just running really, really fucking fast. Because you need to be able to slow down quickly and change direction. Why do you think it's tough to run the ball? We can't spread the. I tell you, I tell you why. I tell you why. Because we can't run block very well. We can't run back block that very well. You can see it. It's 100%. Most of the plays, if you've not watched us play, bro, half the time it's a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. You can't blame that on fucking Mike Evans. Baker can't throw to spots. He's too scared to make mistakes. I think so, and I think the problem was he went. Dude, you don't need like you don't need to. You absolutely don't need to just have burners. You need to have guys who can manipulate defenders. You're just talking stupid. Just you need a burner. A burner sends it. No, we're not passing the ball because the statistics state that the Buccaneers are gonna probably run the ball into a fucking brick wall because that's what they do. Have you not watched a Bucs game this season? We run on stupid downs. We set up third down on fucking third down along because we'll miss one pass and then we'll put it all on Baker Mayfield to make one perfect fucking throw. And he can't do it because he's just not like someone just stated here. He can't throw to spots. It's that simple. So, but I just don't understand how someone can argue that the defense didn't give up the game when they gave up 6.7 yards a carry. Like, and they also let a wide receiver squeak in only his second 100-yard game this season, right? So that's not a hallmark. That's not a hallmark defense. I'm sorry, we've got to tighten up, and we can't afford to lose games anymore. So we just got to keep moving. Defense got about us and not stop. They could not stop the run. They couldn't, because what did they do? They just kept on churning the downs, churning the downs, churning the downs. Defense fault. Why loss? I think there's more to it than that. I'm not going to put this all on the defense. I'm going to put it on everyone. In all fairness, I'm putting this on both sides of both sides of the ball. I'm going to put this on the defense, and I put this on the. I'm going to put this on the offense too. I just don't think they could make it gel. The Buccaneers' offense had moments to capitalize, and the defense had so many opportunities to get them off the field. Like, they made on their scoring drives, they made it look like the Colts could effortlessly put the ball down the field and score, and they did. And there were times where they closed them down, absolutely. And there were times where this offense scored points, but the collective thing is we didn't get things done when it was in the critical moments, and that's where I personally feel we went wrong. We're not capitalizing on the opportunity that's before us, and we're not taking advantage of that. So you got to play the opportunity, and if you don't grab your opportunity, what do they say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, lack of awareness of using timeouts. I think he should have challenged the Mike Evans catch. I don't know if that was a big thing in the game. Let's go. Oh, a couple of comments have come in. Let's go through these. I'm not sure I'm convinced on Fields either, to be brutally honest. So I don't know if that's the deal I would want to go down. Do you think the Panthers can beat the Bucs now? Honestly, no. Could they? Possibly, because I thought this game should have been a wrap. If I'm honest, it should have been a wrap. Yeah, I just no. Will we see a coaching change soon? No, the Buccaneers traditionally don't tend to fire too many coaches mid-season. What they tend to do is wait till the end of the season, and there's no reason to rush because at the end of the day, I don't think someone's going to come in and change the Buccaneers organization to a point where they go, "Oh my God, look at the Buccaneers now! They scrape into the playoffs and they win everything." I don't see that being a thing that's going to happen. So there's no reason for them to poison. Plus, I said earlier that organizations tank and coaching staffs and players don't, and I'm a firm believer in that. So there's no Like, if Bowles is losing and they think the season's done, let him continue to do what he's doing. You'll get a better draft pick, and you'll get what you want. The bigger question is, and this is what everyone's saying, fire Bowles, give me names of people that you would want the Buccaneers to interview and bring in. And I mean that straight up. Now, Harbaugh seems to be a big name that everyone's throwing around, potentially possible. I think the Buccaneers, if they do go down the letting Bowles go, Bucs fans, be prepared that the next few seasons ain't going to be that comfortable, right? And I'm not saying this year's comfortable. Just don't expect it to be an overnight fix. It might not be it might be a year for the year 3 is the year that it all works out. The GM can recalibrate this team for long-term success. Yeah, I mean, they're in a bit of a hole. I think they've got 50 million. They're down in the cap instead of last year, which is like, I think, close to 100 million. So it is possible. It's just keeping the culture intact, keeping everything. Oh, make a deal for that pick. Yeah, okay. I see what you have. Sorry, I thought you meant about Justin Fields, and I was like, I don't know about that dude. No, I'm not sold on him yet. But yeah, let's have a look at what we did. And Mike Evans, it's great to see that he's getting the accolades that he's getting. 2 touchdowns, which was nice to see for him. Really pleased in it from that like sense of the word, so to speak. But this is Bucs life, isn't it? Really, we end up having to enjoy the individual accolades of our players rather than the collective success. So let's have a little look at Mike Evans and where he's at right now. I don't know if they've totted everything up right now, but he is 150 yards from his 1K season. So I'm hoping our boy gets this. I would love to see him return. I don't know. That's all I can say. I think Bowles has lost the locker room. I think it's possible on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's a little bit more tight and knit in the defensive locker room, just because they're his guys that he works with on the day-to-day, right? So we need a taller, more skilled QB to leverage the weapons we have. I mean, when you look at it from the points of how many balls have been tipped at the line of scrimmage in this game, it felt ridiculous. I'd say it felt like you could say 30% of his incompletions came from tipped balls from the line. Hard ball. Okay. Eric the Enemy. I'm not sure about Eric the Enemy, to be honest. The reason being is what's he doing in the Commanders right now? I'm just not seeing anything. Lions OC, that's fair. It's a good choice. I like it as well. I think that is a solid. If the GM doesn't make the right move this season, we could see a decade of pitiful play. Yeah, but the thing is, the right move is always subjected to other people. One person might think the right move is this, and another person thinks the right move is that. You'll never ever get like a collective, like, even when we signed Tom Brady, there were naysayers saying that was a stupid idea. So it doesn't matter what you do as long as the collective success comes out of it in the end. So no excuse, no David, no Dean. Oh, sorry, excuse, no David, no Dean. Yeah, I mean, we had a look at what this defense does when it's a bit short-handed. And Bucs fans, that might be your future. Because Devin White ain't going to stick around. I'm telling you that. I would be shocked to see if Devin White signs a contract. And I know that Levante David has already said that he wouldn't. Sorry, he's only interested in signing 1-year deals. So he's going to play it year by year by year and by year. If he doesn't feel like it's the right fit, he may go somewhere else. He doesn't like the offer or what have you. He could literally be looking. We could be looking at both of those guys being gone, and we'll be looking at Sebastian Dennis and somebody else in the near future. The Bucs don't have the weapon. They definitely do need to look into a different types of wide receivers, because we do have fast guys. They're just not very talented. Well, they're just they're low end guys. Raheem Jarrett is fast. Tompkins is fast. They're just not. They're not prototypical guys in stature and build. So, then their route tree isn't that polished. But yeah, Houston is the example, and they will be in the hunt for years potentially. But a lot of people didn't expect their quarterback to play as well as they did. A lot of people thought they literally got the second best quarterback, and right now they look like they're the ball of the ball with what they've got. Does Jason like last ride? I don't know if you get rid of him straight away because he has done really well with certain picks. I mean, he did draft Tristan. We can name all his draft blunders, and we can name all his draft steals or his draft hits. I think what you got to look at is you take a successful team and put them by the numbers next to this Buccaneers team and go, did they pound for pound out did they out and out pound for pound out GM our GM? And if the answer is yes, then maybe you do look around, and then you look at them versus an average team, right? A team that could make the playoffs, or they fall just short. You put it side by side, and I think that's how you got to compare it. So yeah, just it's not good. That's how we got to do. Short guys. Lions build a great team. They did, and it took them 3 years. Do Buccaneers fans have that much level of patience? I'm being serious. Like, I'm being serious in this sense. Like, do the Buccaneers fans have patience to wait 3 years to be good? I mean, I know that the Lions really showed it. How long have the Lions been going with this Dan Campbell shtick that they've been doing? Let's have a look while we're getting this down. Okay. Fields is better than Stroud. He's just on a piss poor team with one run. I think he's better. I would like to see what he looks like in a better team, but I don't know if I'm willing to roll the dice on a guy. If I can get him for fuck all and get him to come into the team, then great. But I don't want to be giving up first round picks. You've got to be really. Yeah, absolutely. They have lived in the dungeon for decades, but so have we. Bucs fans have only had this resurgence. But 2007 to 2020 was the last time we won a playoff game. Between those two times, so and the last time we won a playoff. Now, the last time we won a playoff game was 2021, and that was versus the Eagles. So, when you look at it from that perspective, we can't really turn around and say the Buccaneers have never experienced that. Buccaneers fans are going to be ready for a bumpy fucking ride. For a full rebuild is a 3 to 4 year deal. Sometimes they can get it done quicker. So here's what, since 2001 and present as head coach. There you go. So this is year 3, and he's turned it around. Now I know that they had a decent season last year. But on the regular season right now, Dan Campbell's head coaching record is 25-31 and 1 draw. Obviously, most of those wins have come this season, and not the seasons before. So, we've just got to be ready for, if we're going to reset the clock, you're going to have to reset the team. And by resetting the team, you're going to be in for some pain. And if you're okay with that and you're ready for the long haul and you're hoping things can get better. But remember, fans are fickle. Fans are really fickle people. We get upset by this kind of stuff. What if this is like next year's the year that Coach Bowles gets it right and it's there? What a lot of people will say, and I agree with this, is there's no progression. It hasn't got better. If anything, the sample size is shrunk year on year, and that's why I want to see the end of this year. I think the Brady experiment, which did create a Super Bowl team, also created what we have now. Not necessarily. I mean, to a degree. I mean, it's a different coach. It is a slightly different coaching staff. A lot of the coaches, a lot of the offensive coach, a chunk of the offensive coaching is the same. The defensive coaching is exactly the same. So there's no excuse on defense. The only thing you could say is they have not been able to take advantage of the free agent market so much. So they've had to rely on draft picks, and you can only, let's face it, a good team drafts three starters. A very good team drafts three starters from the draft, right? You need to walk away with at least one starter and two depth players that can become starters the following year. Realistically, to have a look like a good draft. People, when they squabble over the cap, the personnel, the scheme, yeah, all of it's a contributed mess. But at the same time, we've got a Super Bowl out of it, so we just got to shut the fuck up and just take that lick. Do we? I say this, and I say give Coach Bowles to the end of the season. Let's see what he does. If it tapers off and the record is worse, then you have to have a serious conversation about what you're going to do next year. And I mean that because you've got to see, can you go another year with Coach Bowles? Because you're going to have another year with it. You won't have a quarterback again. The quarterback problem's not going to go away. Even if you get a rookie, and even if you got somehow the Buccaneers traded for the first overall pick and got the best quarterback in the land, it's not necessarily going to translate into it's not necessarily going to translate to being a Super Bowl team. Tron bust, Hall bust, Hainsey bust. Nice. I mean, you can turn around and say every single one of those guys is a depth player on this team, except for maybe Hainsey, who is the starter. Who, yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a good backup. I don't think he's a starter. I also know that Hainsey is not a first round pick, so so there's that. But I think Coach Bowles will I think fired Bowles be better. Hey, let's see what happens. Me personally, I'm willing to go the distance and see what the rest of this season looks like, because I don't think it really fucking matters if you won't bring anyone else in. You're gonna have an interim coach. Who's gonna be your interim coach? It's not gonna be Dave Canales. He's not ready. He can't even handle it. He's struggling with being an offensive coordinator. You don't want to put that on a rookie. You do not want to put that on a rookie OC and say, oh, by the way, assistant head coach, but now you're the head coach. Let's get this done. And expect it to translate into anything but losses. Unless you're gunning for losses, and yeah, maybe you fight Bowles and put Canales on the chopping block and he struggles. But defensively, I don't think you'll get too much too different. This is Coach Bowles' staff. This is Coach Bowles' guys. I think you get rid of Bowles and the defense will play exactly the same. I don't think it'll play much different, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not in the room. But I believe they have the core philosophy that they're on. I think they're all believers in Coach Bowles' system and the way Coach Bowles coaches his team. So I don't think those were. I don't think those were the thing. Lost Ryan Jensen, big loss. Absolutely. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Trevor, if you're gonna try and insult me, dude, I'll just fucking mute you. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll just tell you I'll just tell you how this is. We're just having discussion here. If you can't take part in a healthy debate and discussion, then I'll just mute you or remove you. It's that simple. It's my show. Done. But yeah, what I would say, James, is you want to take where he's gone wrong, and you're absolutely right. He has Jason Light has whiffed 100%. Yeah, he has. But then go and find a team that you think is a good run team, and then check the sample size. Like, compare like apples with apples and oranges with oranges. Don't just look at his draft picks and go, well, he failed on that one. But then you'll go and look at a team like the Rams and go, well, they failed on that one. They failed on that one. They failed on that one. It's like, well, do you know what I'm saying? Like, really compare it. Don't just look at the failures and go, well, he's had all these failures. That's great. But how many failures do other teams have? Houston's got 1 year. You can't compare a year. You've got to compare more than that. That's like saying if a rookie quarterback blows up the league, is he one of the best quarterbacks in the league? No, he's still emerging. You know what I'm saying? Trevor, I want to know your thoughts. Where do you go with this? Do you go Coach Bowles? Would you get rid of him? Jacksonville you can look at, but I think they're on year 2. You're probably looking at a team that's been around for 4 years with the same GM. So you could probably have to look at teams like Steelers, Seahawks, Rams, Saints, in theory. You've got to look at teams that have had their GM for a good period of time that you compare like the last 5 years worth of picks and go, yeah. Because I did it once. I did this exercise with Seattle when Seattle had the Legion of Boom, and their pick ratio isn't that good. It really isn't. They don't pick very well. Look, Matt. I'm sick of seeing our kickers look good against us when we can't even keep them. We're trying to get rid of them off our team. we cut them and they end up being good. We're like, oh yeah, he missed a kick. Let's get rid of him. I remember us drafting him as well. Another kicker by the bust. Absolutely. Right, guys. I want to have some movie time with my wife and digest this properly, and have a deeper look. But you guys are always more than welcome to check out the Aftermath, which is our debate show, a true debate show with me and my co-host, my bro host, which is AJ Turner. He does the pre-game show, so go check that out. That'll be 9:30 to 9:30 Eastern tomorrow, where we will go in much more. That's a fair one. Do the comparison, dude. Trust me, just have a look. I mean, I'm not saying that he's like a great GM. I'm really not. I'm just saying if you're gonna do that, you need to compare it against something. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, guys, if you want to, please check us out on there. I've had a blast. This show normally only goes for 45 minutes. To be honest, it's something I try and get out of the way because everyone's too busy, commiserating. It's a Bucs life, so that's why we got this. Hopefully the Buccaneers can figure something out. Can we get a TARDIS and go back to those years? Speaking of movies, but yeah, man, I don't see the Buccaneers doing much more this season. I would be surprised if we walk away with 3 wins at this point. 3 more wins at this point. And if that's the case, that'd be the case. Buccaneers going 7-10, which means where do you move on? But defensively, we have got worse. Offensively, we can't seem to take advantage of the width of the field or any part of the field. We can't run the ball. We ran the ball today. Yeah, we ran the ball today, so there's no excuse. Offense should have put up more points, and Baker was a big reason they didn't. I said this before. He is not clutch when you need a player to be clutch. He's just not. I think he's a quarterback that is designed to win with a very good run game and a very elite wide receiving core with a defense that will keep the scores down, and that's it. That's what he needs. He needs to be comfortable at all times. I don't think you put this guy in a pressure situation. I don't know if he can, and the game is on the line, and he has to make the play after play after play after play. I don't think he's got it in him. He's got the attitude. He's got the guts. He's got the balls, and he's got the determination, and he cares. But when it comes to it, he tends to whiff in those key moments where you could get something done. Instead of kicking a field goal, he tends to make the wrong decision in the wrong places. His pick was completely on him. It looked to me it was on him. His fumble was just him holding onto the ball for trying to get the big play out. He made good plays on the ground when he needed to. But without further ado, guys, please check us out. Please check us out on the Aftermath on the game 102, 102.5, 18. Oh my God, I've been drinking way too much. But yeah, go check us out on the Aftermath. This has been a frustrating one for me because I haven't done my tradition. Seeing as the another jersey off, another jersey lost. Now we go back to basics. Go back to basics. Figure this thing out. It's making me look forward to my football season, where I coach my team. the Sandwell Steelers. So just been made assistant defensive coordinator, so that's kind of cool. So definitely can't wait to get my Steve Tuck into that. So James, Trevor, and Bucs, Rays, Bolts, the big contributors here. Thank you so much for commenting. I know we're all passionate Bucs fans. We want to get our moment out there, and we want to explain how we feel about this team, what we're seeing, what we're not seeing, what we're hearing. But guys, if you want to get into a nice heavy debate, which is good fun, good for the soul, think of it as therapy, check out the Aftermath tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on this channel. It'll come out. You guys can come on screen, get your rant out, because we love that shit. Because we're doing the same. Trust me, AJ's going to be on fire tomorrow. I'm sure steam's already coming out of his ears. But on that note, Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucs.